What is happening, Bears? What's going on, Bears? Finally. So I just shut down the entire computer and restarted it. I tested everything last night to make sure that it was preset for today. I had the camera operating. I had the whole 9 yards set, and no camera. Like I acting like I had nothing. Right? It was awesome. So just had to shut everything down and come back up. It's great to see people popping in here. This is fantastic. Let's see here. I'm going to have to do what I do because my chat loves to disappear when it's in the normal control room setting. Let's see here. So we got, of course, Dom. We've got Andrew. We've got Steve Pinder, 1911 Bear. We've got Feather. Let's see here. And we got Kikya. Can't forget Kikya. Good to see everybody. You darn right the fun begins. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Guys, it's been a ridiculous week. Sorry I had to disappear. Trying to sit down and get a live stream done when I had all my kids here. I haven't figured out how to make that happen on any consistent basis yet. I'm going to have to figure it out at some point. And the more efficient I can make the process, the easier that'll be. So, welcome. Great to see all you. Today, I'd love to share with you a little bit about what I was doing. Let's see. Good night. Still trying to wake up here. What I've been doing the past week with the kids. We had an amazing time. Went all kinds of places. Went camping over the weekend, and that was incredible. We actually came back from that without anybody dying or going insane, right? No, it was great. It was wonderful. All of it. Even the most insane, frustrating times. It was all great. I had a lot of moments to be able to pour into my kids and share some useful stuff with them. By the way, my kids, I've mentioned it before, but they really like Brian Regan. They really, really like Brian Regan skits. I'm going to move this up here because it's comfortable and I can keep it steady. By the way, Chunk says hi. You say hi to the people, Chunk? Chunky puppy, are you sleeping? No. There we go. Oh, I don't have him in frame. There's the chunky puppy. Here's the big dog over in the corner. He went camping too for the first time. Yeah, and I was guarding my dad and my mom, and they were good to be guarded from the guard Chunk. Just because I'm trained as a guard Chunk. Well, okay, I'm really trained as the therapy Chunk, but I could guard you and therapize you at the same time, maybe. Maybe not. He's super cool because his eyebrows are like really expressive. Right, Chunk? Chunk. You see those eyebrows going? He's such a good dog. Oh, back to the chat. Yeah, he is darn cute. You're right, Kiki. And Feather. Chunk Esquire, the lawyer. So, believe me, I understand, Kiki. My neighbors have recently gotten a tiny little, I don't know what it is, but it's flipping cute. And I've been extra careful on paying too much attention to it because I don't want my wife to get, her dogological clock ticking again. We have three is all we should have. Unless we had some like gigantic farm, not a puppy farm, don't misunderstand me, but or a puppy mill or anything like that, not that kind of stuff. But if we had a wide open space where we could have a number of different dogs and get them out and exercised regularly, and that was much of our life. At any rate, so yeah, my third son, Morgan, he is all about Brian Regan. He thinks it's hilarious, and he memorizes bits so well. And we learned a couple of new bits we'd never heard. Like we were talking about this bit of his where I must have popped it up to him recently where um, Brian's talking about being in school years ago, and he was saying something about the teacher was asking him how to do plurals. You put a s at the end of it. And do you know when, Brian? No. It's just I don't do the bit well. I don't know how he did it all, but I know that she brings up like in his version, the teacher brings up like the smart kid in class, and it's like, how do you spell oxen? Or what's the plural of ox? Oxen. The farmer used his oxen. Brian, what's the plural of box? Boxing. It's that kind of stuff. And instantly my son is doubled over in laughter, even when he's trying to tell it, right? He can't even tell it without dying. It's so funny. It's hilarious. And that was much of our vacation. Got to the point where I was okay with not hearing Brian Regan for a couple of days. But a lot of fun with that. A lot of fun. Pretty darn silly. And I like it because, I can enjoy that with my kids together. Brian, or no, what do you say? Erwin, what's a smart kid? What's the plural for geese or goose? Geese. I saw a flock of geese. Brian, please don't ask me. What's the plural of moose? Moosin. I saw a flock of moosin. And that's it. He's done. He's gone at that point, and he repeats it constantly because it's just a riot to him. But it was that for all my kids. In fact, we were listening to a clip of that while we were going away from the campsite to go get some ice at the local store in the nearby town. And it was the first time I'd heard this bit. And he was going off about the moosin thing, and then he's freaking out and going off on a whole bunch of other ridiculousness. I almost had to pull the car over to the side of the road because I was laughing so hard. It was just tears. It was just continual. My oldest son, my third son, and I, all of us dying laughing. Steve, did you say you want a puppy for your snakes because they're out of food? Oh my goodness. That's almost getting into charity bear territory. From what I heard talk about the last week when I was here. No, you're fine. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It's not that bad. By the way, Charity Bear, if you're out there somewhere, I know you've been in this stream before, and like I said, you're welcome to join. Welcome to come out here. Sometimes in this chat, it's not just you; it could be anybody. Things could get like disturbing, right? Like more than some people are prepared to stomach. So if you want to talk to me one-on-one about anything, I'm glad for it. But use judgment. If it's going to get kind of strange, maybe don't save it for the chat. Save it for, hey, you want to talk to me about something that's you think might be kind of weird? Come talk to me. There's not much I haven't heard, right? So weirdness doesn't bother me, but don't force a wrenching. It'll happen. It'll get crazy. I'll go all Stalin Bear on you if I have to do that. It'll go. And then it'll be a wrench and a sickle or something, right? I'm kind of like that now because I'm saying everybody has a wrench. Hey, Mayor, welcome. Glad to see you, David. Glad to see you here. Very cool. De-wrenchment. You know what? The puppy snake thing, that's fine. I'm totally down. Steve it's puppy snake all the time. I'm not knocking Pinder. He just reminded me. I should make a comment about that. I love talking about all kinds of stuff. Artistic masterpiece, really. I had that recommended to me to watch years ago when I was on my first trip in Iraq. Other guys would tell me, you gotta check out this thing. It's two girls business. And I'm like, not only no, But hell no, I'm gonna pass on that. I have no interest. Referencing it is kind of funny once in a while, though, if it's done in the right place. And Andrew, that was well done. Artistic masterpiece. Man, I have no doubt you were. Yes, I actually met a guy in my second unit in Iraq, or in Kuwait rather, the second place I was at in the army. And this guy said he'd previously served in Germany, and I guess he was interacting with a couple that he met that were local nationals and lived off the base in the area, and he was invited to their home for dinner. And I guess the couple had an open relationship, and the husband went to bed and said, "Hope you two enjoy your time," and basically was giving his blessing for them to get involved with each other. And I guess that lady enjoyed that kind of activity that the two young ladies with their cup enjoy, or something similar. I don't know, but yeah, that's apparently a thing for people, and I can honestly say I don't. Not only do I not understand it, I have no desire to understand why that would be an enjoyable thing. So moving on from all of that, I just gave this speech about let's keep the chat from getting too morbid or disturbing, and I go into a diatribe about that. Notice that I'm keeping it nondescript, so that we don't get it too disturbed. But at any rate, camping, yeah, camping with the family was really, really incredible. We went to a little spot about an hour and a half east of where I'm at, and never been to that place before. It was a lake there, small, not too large sized lake. There was decent fishing there. I'm not licensed, and you got to be licensed in this state apparently. Um, so we didn't do too much. I wish we could have. I should have brought the canoe with me too. That would have been fun. But I thought, boy, that's just going to be such a hassle, and we're already tired. Um, we might have done it. Might have had some fun with that, but we had fun in other ways. It was pretty good. Oh, for me, no, Liberty Snake. The Unbearables app chat did not get too crazy. Um, Not for me anyway. I just don't get to it. It's literally just a I'm not there enough. I need to make time, but I've been otherwise busy. Yes, yes, Feather. I've played some Gaffigan bits. He drops an S word. That's so stupid to say. Um, but I like to. I generally try to keep my streams, um, at least for my content, profanity free, so that if students of mine happen to get into it or something like that, then they can enjoy it, without concern, for the parents' sake. Um, but yes, we enjoy the Gaffigan because he's pretty funny. He's pretty funny. He uses the voice a lot. It's like lady voice that it's like totally weirded out by what he's saying. He's very funny. Very, very funny. Um, yeah, and he's always talking about family related stuff. Um, I'm not going to rant about the efforts. No, probably not. Not so much. Um, let's see. Who's that? Gaffigan? Yes. Yes. Um, any of that stuff that hits home, and makes fun of stuff a little bit that you would make fun of yourself. You're like, well, yeah, that's pretty flippin' ridiculous. I totally get into, and the kids get it too. I like seeing the kids develop a better sense of humor, and subtlety when they can. I don't think Brian Regan is what you would call subtle, but Gaffigan can have his moments of subtlety. Um, I don't know. It's paying attention to details, and in comedy, you can very easily stop and look at it and understand why was that funny. Soy protein in hot pockets. That's probably true. Um, Hedberg, man, I haven't seen that guy in years. I used to watch Hedberg bits; those were pretty good. Let's see here. Yeah, yeah, he's it's funny. Comedians like Regan and Gaffigan, I haven't seen them delve into the soy, you know, uh, superbly other than Gaffigan's Hot Pocket issue. Um, I haven't seen them go that way in their content. They try to they kind of I don't know, it's weird. Like they don't even go there. Like that's just not been their niche. So they're like, why would I bring that up now? I've never really been much of a political guy. Um, but I think that Regan did have some political bits, but they were only just they weren't really political in the way that most other people would have them be. Like they literally just address it. Like I think I saw a Regan bit where he came on was Jimmy Fallon or some other show, and he's like, so I think we had an election or of some kind. There's some person in the White House now. This was right after Trump got elected. It's like I've never been more terrified in my life to bring up a subject. It's like you just have no idea what the reaction is going to be. Either people are going to love you or they're going to hate you. Or they're going to, you don't know. So, or it could be hate both ways. Everybody could hate you for the same thing. So he just talked about the fact that it gets that tensioned. He talked more about the tension factor rather than addressing any one side or the other. And there's virtue in that to some degree because he's like, okay, he's just being smart and he's just sticking to his stuff, sticking to his niche. But in some ways, you think, oh, where's the edge? Where's the taking a risk and trying to stand for something? And maybe he decides to stand for it not in his act, but in other places. Like that's not the most effective way for him. But it's also his livelihood. So I'm not judging either Gavigan or Regan. I by all the horse enthusiasts, so I missed that. I have to go back and check that out. Yes, we need a Don Rickles again. We need a good Don Rickles. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Um, Carlin. Yeah, those guys, man. I tell you, they could say about anything. And they could tell the truth. Well, and think about that though, Liberty Snake. Why do we miss those guys? Because they were able to stand up and say things that they believe were true, right? They were able to stand for stuff that they actually thought was true. And that doesn't mean they were right, you know. Um, yeah, I don't think he could. I don't think he could work it out either, Steve. It's like, um, it's so weird. Like 10 years ago, maybe a little more. I remember watching good old Conan O'Brien back when he was the underdog on late night, and he wasn't nearly as SJW as he's kind of gotten, or towing the leftist line. Yeah, he was a leftist. I think I got that at times, but I think that was the case for a lot of leftists. Nearly as it wasn't nearly as obvious. You know what I mean? Like Tom Brokaw. I'll go to that for a second. I grew up watching nightly news. Tom Brokaw. Oh, hang on. You know what? Garbage truck's coming. I got to take the garbage out. So we're gonna go together. I used to watch the nightly news with Tom Brokaw when I was a kid, and I never got the sense of Brokaw being like super lib, even though he was a newscaster and he probably was. But he was one of those guys that I like highly respected, in that field. It's like that's what I grew up watching. I probably don't think I ever enjoyed Peter Jennings or anybody like that to the extent that I like Brokaw. And anytime I'd see him on an interview, he came on Conan's show a number of times. He was actually in the intro skit to Conan starting at NBC. So I always kind of thought Brokaw was a cool dude. And then I don't know, like Conan, him, a bunch of people that I used to respect a lot more. They've just gone super far lived because that's narrative. That's where you got to be to make it these days in their world. So I don't know. Back in the day, Conan had an interview I was watching with Helen Hunt. She came on there and she was talking about her and her guy at the time, Hank Azaria. I think they're still together. I don't know. It's Hollywood. Who knows how long those last? Her and Hank Azaria were together, and they were out at some show. I don't know if it was Vegas or wherever it was, but they went and saw Don Rickles, you know, and it was funny. Like, she was hanging there with Hank, and Hank put in, you know, a note to Mr. Rickles. And, you know, if you're even remotely famous, he'll probably mention you at some point in the show, was her bit here. And Hank put that in and said, you know, Mr. Rickles, I've been in The Simpsons. I was in Godzilla. I was in The Birdcage. You know, please, please, please say my name. You know, I'll kiss your butt till I die. Or I don't remember what it was, but, you know, he's like, hey, everybody, Hank is there, you know, and Hank just barely starts to get up out of his chair when the applause starts. And he's like, okay, sit down, Hank, it's over. You know, so he still finds a way to insult him, you know, even when he honors him a little bit at the show. But then he's like, everybody, I definitely want to take the time to introduce you to this person. They're a former hooker, you know, and he's like, it's Helen Hunt, you know. So he could call pretty well-known famous actors former hookers, and that was acceptable and funny. But yeah, that kind of stuff probably doesn't go in the same way. You're a misogynist. You're a patriarchy supporter, white fat male. And they wouldn't say fat. I can't do that. Can't do that. Maybe he's in a press class because he's got an obesity issue. I don't know. Gita, good morning. I'm just getting the water for coffee now because my beautiful lady's on her way up, and I want to make sure there's some coffee started. Gita dog, what are you doing? She's trying to play with her sister. You get him, Gerby. Tell her to hush that mouth. She knows what's good for her. Why don't you guys go outside and go potty? It's a happening thing these days. Dogs do it. Oh, children. So, including her head. That's hilarious. Yeah, I haven't seen her recently. The unicorn of gender. Are you serious? Are you serious? That's not that, like, what Bill Nye did the thing with the ice creams, right? And I don't know about the unicorn. Is that what they're using as a school teaching aid? The unicorn? Oh, so glad my children are not in public school sometimes. There are moments where I am extremely grateful for that fact being the case. All right, hang on. Hey, Gita, Chunk, all y'all. Why don't y'all go outside? I just sprayed them with water. When dogs need discipline, we do have a water bottle. We give them a little spray. Not too hard. What? Hang on. I'm sorry, Kiki, do you mean front hole? Is that what you mean? Oh, goodness. Yeah, that killed me. I saw that front hole business the other day, and I'm like, what's happening? The fudge is happening. Can't say the actual word. Orwellian as heck, man. Dear Lord in heaven. Can't say it because it might offend people who don't actually have a regular one. Oh, disturbing and beyond. I'm a hate speaker. This video is demonetized. It's not monetized in the first place. Oh, man. So funny. So yeah, okay, back to camping because that's worth talking about. Got off on the Gaffigan stuff and all that, and the and the Brian Regan, but comedy's hilarious. And in fact, before I head back from that, I would love to hear from Big Bear on that sometime. Like, is he familiar with their comedy? You know, I'm sure he is. But like, has he been influenced by that growing up? Because Regan's been doing stuff since like the early '80s. You know, he's been out there in the clubs doing things, and he has some great stuff to share about that. Like, I watched Rogan interviews a little bit, just got some insight there, and I don't know, the stuff he's done to get to where he's at is incredible. I mean, he just worked his butt off. He worked his tail off, man, and had a very decent career doing stand up. And he's had some other things here and there, but I don't know. I wonder if there's stuff about either of those guys that would make me cringe. And I really hope not, but I'd rather know it than not know it. You know, I'd rather not continue to say, hey, kids, you should look up to this guy, and then be like, God dang it. I did sit down with like my oldest one night when the others had already gone to sleep. He was still awake for a little bit. And we talked a little bit about Robin Williams. We watched some old interviews of Williams on Johnny Carson back in the day. And to see a difference between, say, like Regan's style of comedy and Robin Williams, like, this is what happens when you have a little too much cocaine, son. Generally not something I would encourage you to do, like at all. Um, yeah, like just in another world, the way he's able to pull different ideas in and make hilarity, and it goes so fast you don't even know what he's saying. You know, I just realized I should have put out that sofa with the rest of the garbage, but I'm just gonna take that somewhere. I'm not gonna worry about that today. I'll take it out to the dump. I won't make those guys do it. It's kind of big. Um, we had an old sofa that was sitting in here. Maybe you've seen it in previous videos. It was like brown pleather or something, and it was falling apart, you know. But thankfully, some customers, my wife, friends of ours, they had this little weird futon thing that's pretty cool. Um, they passed that on to us because they got something new, and we were grateful. Yeah, Robbins, man, I loved him. All the voices he could do, that stuff blew me away. My hairline? Is that what you're referring to? Oh, I'm sorry. I had to look back a little bit, kick you. Um, it doesn't front whole epithet screaming to be typed, but I love what it says. I just saw that, Mayor. That's awesome. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I missed some of the front hole talk here. This is great. This is good chat right here, guys. This is what I've been missing. Oh, my gosh. What is it, Chunk? Chunk's watching the, I don't know if you can see him with his silhouette there. He's watching the garbage guys. What do you think? What are they going to do with that big truck? Huh? What do they do? What do they do? Where are they? Uh-oh, now people are going to know where I live. That's not good. We don't want that. That's not healthy at all. Oh, there it is. There's the chunk in the garbage truck. What are they doing? Well, there's a big truck out there. It's very big and kind of scary. I don't know. I gotta guard my dad and my mom from the truck. I got a loose hair in my face. Dad, why are you messing with me? That's what moms do, not you do, Dad. Dad, I'm watching the truck for you. Hey, come on, learn how to hold a laptop, Dad. Get it together. What are they doing? Why are they taking that stuff? Oh, I'm done with this. I'm gonna grab my toy that I stole from the kids. I'm gonna nibble on it. What do you think, Chunk? Do you say hi? Chunk! Chunky puppy! No? Oh, you're a good boy. Hi. You want to come up, Gerby, and say hi? Gerby's here. It is all about Chunk. It's always about Chunk. And Gerby. Gerby. Hey, what are you doing? Says, Dad, don't bother me. I'm looking at the window. You say hi to people? You say hi? Gita, do you say hi to people? Gita puppy. Hey, say hi. No? They're so good. Such good dogs. Let's see here. Can you see? Okay, you can see. So at any rate, back to the topic at hand. I know, Kik. It was rough being gone for 2 weeks when I was in Alaska. Like, I'm so accustomed to having dogs around now. I don't do well when they're not here. I don't do well when they're not here. I know, because they're good dogs. Hey, you want to come down here? Oh, Chunk's gonna come over. Goodness, you want to come sit by your daddy? You're gonna sit by your daddy. The 90-pounder's just gonna hop right up in there. Goodness, what are you doing, man? He went from one couch to the other couch. Oh, he's a good kid. And just lays across my lap. Don't destroy it. No. Trying to eat my computer. Kirby, no shinshi. It's inappropriate. Oh, goodness. Yes, that's correct. Oh, man. Guys are cracking me up over here. Oh, I'm sorry, Feather. I hope it came back. You good to go? Animals are the best. Awesome. So I'm gonna get to this vacation stuff here. We went hiking. We went. I was like, what is that noise? We went hiking on some trails around the campsite, and I got complaints from at least one or two of the kids the entire hike. But afterward, they came to enjoy it. I was like, yeah, this is kind of fun. Maybe we should do more. And later on that Saturday, we actually went to the swim beach, which, hey, good on them, good business model and all. But yeah, it's like $3 a person to go swimming at their swim beach, which isn't a lot. But a lot of the camping spots I've been to, it's like if you've already paid to camp, going to the swim beach is kind of integrated into the cost. But they're like, no. If you're here, you're not going to go somewhere else to swim. You're already here. So we'll get you. We'll get you one more time. So that was fun, Yeah, but no. Oh, well, I'm glad you're back, Feather. That's cool, Kika. Yeah. It's I would say I'd love to do the same, but my kids are now going to spend a week at their mom's only, and then it is not swim weather out here. If it was an indoor pool, I'd be all over that. Honestly, I'd probably swim in this weather myself. It's amazing. I love it. I don't care if it's raining. If it's lightning, that's when I'll have a problem. But what, Chunk? What in the world? He's wrestling this toy snake that he got a hold of. It's pretty funny. Just getting all the stuffing out of it. Right? You know about that, don't you? Mm-hmm. Gerby often looks very noble. Yes. She likes to shake. Well, she really wants to tell me, Dad, you should be petting me. You shouldn't stop ever. It should be a continual thing that you constantly pet. Anyway, so he's got it's literally this stuffed snake. Kika. Hang on 1 second. I can't pet you all the time as much as you'd like it. Yeah, it's a stuffed toy snake. It's actually a puppet. And I think they've torn the puppetry part apart. It's for kid hands, not adult hands. So yeah, you're supposed to be able to stick your hands in there and like, hi, I'm a snake. Hello. So yeah, this was my oldest's, but they didn't put it away like they were supposed to, and so it's been thrown to the dogs. They've destroyed what they can. It's already got stuffing popping out all sorts of different places, and he's less interested in stuffed animals at 13, almost 14 now. So yes, very slobbered, very very destroyed. Eat this apple. I just got that, Mayor. That's awesome, man. Uh, 20 stuffed snakes. That's insane. 14 feet long. As many feet as my son is about years old. Goodness gracious sakes. So I'm going to try and get through this. Let's see what time we're at here. I've been yakking about silliness for a little while. We're about a half hour in. I'm probably not going to do a full hour today. But I'm going to spend some time with my beautiful lady and read some Bible and have some coffee because that's good. And I got some work to do today. I gotta get some more students going. I'm also thinking I'm going to open up a Twitter for Big Drum Bear and get that going. Oh, you headed out? Good to see you, Kick You. Glad you could come by. Always love having you here. Steve. So yeah. Yeah, dang right. Hit the like, peeps. So I'm trying to organize my thoughts here. So we did the camping thing, and they actually played a movie on Saturday night. They had like a projector screen, and they put up Cars, and so I took all the kids over. And we watched Cars, and there was a young couple there that was sitting near us, and they loved Chunk. They thought Chunk was amazing because he is. So that was fun, and had some opportunities through that to teach the kids some cool things, getting the tent set up. They've done it before, but how to work together on some stuff and some other ideas about life that was good for them to learn. But yeah, we had a fun time out camping. Probably wasn't as eventful as it could have been, but more stuff we could have or should have done. But it was still pretty good. And we learned some thoughts about how we can do it better next time. Like we're really considering working to a point where we can afford a camper, and not just for camping, but we'd like to have something that at least has like a sink and a toilet to it, and a decent amount of bed space, so we could take all the kids in that and not have to set up a tent. But also maybe go off and live elsewhere at different times of the year as time goes on here, and let this house be rented out. That could be a nice idea. We could probably make a decent chunk of rent off this place. Yeah, it wouldn't be half bad. And the more I've seen some of these newer campers and mobile home things that people have, boy, I'd dig it. I really would. If there were some spots where we could go, just staying camping different places. Shoot, you don't even have to get to a campsite half the time. Somebody's got a decent patch of land, and you can just hang out for a little bit. Go place to place and penny pinch a little bit. You can reduce your cost of living, at least for that part of it, quite a bit. Love Chunk or you're a commie. That could be a t-shirt, man. Love Chunk or you're a commie. I might have to make it because I don't think my wife will, but I would totally make that shirt. Man, I got to do it. Love Chunk or you're a commie. That's so good, Steve. It's going to flip and happen. Chunk, big picture of your face, and next to it, it'll have the star and sickle or something like that. I don't know if I can do just that. I could do old Soviet symbol. I don't know. That would be funny. Or a picture of Stalin's face. That would be funny. Love Chunk or you're Stalin. Dude, I would totally work that with you. Yeah, man. Um, Shoot, if I do a picture shirt, um, see, yeah, um, I'd have to get a good high res image. The highest res images I have are off my phone. Um, they do about between 2 to 3 megabytes per picture. Um, so I could probably make that happen. Chunkus Che Guevara. Chunk Guevara. Chunk, we're talking about making you into a commie, bro. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Love Chunk or you're a commie. Big drum bear. Man, that's funny. Oh, dude, it's about time you earned your keep. Flipping dog. Yeah, I'm gonna t-shirtize you. Exploit my pets. You know what actually would be funnier is Gita would be much more the commie. I'm sorry, dear. I'm looking right at her. Gita's much more the communist over here. She's if things aren't exactly the way she wants it, she gets into dictator mode, you know. So it's yapping at everybody like you're dancing. Dancing's not allowed. Ruff, ruff, ruff. There's light flashing on the ceiling from somebody's phone reflection. That's not allowed. It's evil demons. Rah, rah, rah. So that's Gita. I'm kidding about you, dear, because I love you. You know that, right? I don't know what you're saying, Dad. Gita puppy. Are you sleeping? Are you being good? You're a commie. It's okay. At any rate, so yes, Steve, I'll be contacting you today to discuss that. That has to happen. It's going to be about $20 a shirt if you put an image on there. I think it'll cost like 14 or 15 bucks if you have that. Um, well, no, take that back. It's about I think the shirt costs about 16 or 17 if you put that. So um, we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Um, I don't know. Got to figure that out. At any rate, um, yeah, that's priceless, dude. I love that. I love you, Kita. You're a commie. That's right, Mayor. I can say anything to this dog. Some things she knows. Like Gita, you know the word food, don't you? Her ears just perked up. Do you like food? Do you want to come see Daddy? Want to come here? Maybe I'll give you food. Come here. Come see Daddy. Come on. She's just wagging her tail. She's getting excited. Chunk heard it. He's like, you have food for me? Yeah. Blueberries. Oh. Um, oh, well, I'd be happy to chip in a little bit to you, man, for coming up with the stuff. Shoot. I'm looking to see you get squared away, and maybe we could work together on something for you as well. Make Steve Pinder greeting cards with like music that you and I have written in it or something like that. Or stuffed animals that play music when you squeeze the hand. You know, it's 1911 bear with big old 1911 in his hand. You squeeze it and it's something music that we wrote. Get Mayer in there playing a solo. That'd be good. Oh man. Canines against communism. That's awesome. I didn't see that. Join the cack or die. All right, before I never get to it, the ugly mug. Oh, that's hilarious, dude. Yes. Yes, we need an ugly mug. Overboard wankery. Because we're talking about the cack, right? Um, so we got back for camping. We survived that, and we got back home Monday morning. Or Monday afternoon, I guess it was. I took all the kids out to the Riverfront Museum in Peoria, and they have some awesome stuff there. We've been about 2 other times this year, and all because it was free. It was another free opportunity since I've got that veteran business. They allowed us to get in there for free, and they have an exhibit going on right now that Logan really liked. It's been seen once already by us. Like when my folks were here, we went and saw that, and it was mythical creatures. Really, really cool exhibit the way they'd set it out. History of different mythical creatures that have been known throughout different societies, and He likes adventure, mystery, or not mystery, it's the word I'm looking for, kind of fantasy type books a little bit right now. He's into that sort of thing. Um, he he really thought some of those different displays were really well put together, and they were. It was really fun. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to say really a few more times. Um, yeah, that was a neat one. They had they've had this exhibit there for quite a long time as well about the history of Peoria, and a lot of its alcohol industry history. A lot of that's got a whole separate room talking about some of those different things. The numerous different distilleries we used to have down here back in the day. Um, Distilleries and breweries, I should say. Um, then what else did we do there? The planetarium. We've done the planetarium numerous times, and that's always a hoot. Um, it's kind of weird if you lay down on the floor toward the front of that it's never so full that it's awkward for um, you to be laying down, even when it's been the seating's totally full. They say, "Come on in and lay on the floor and look up at the sky there for our planetarium." Um, it's pretty neat to do, and I was so tired at that point. Like it felt like the room was moving and not the sky up above. Like they got some motion going around in the sky. Like this is what it looked like at this time of day, and they move it all the way over there. But it's weird how the motion started going where I felt like myself and everybody around me and the seats were actually moving and the sky was sitting still. That was a little trippy. And no, I wasn't on any substances that I'm aware of. So I throw that caveat in there. It's like saying alleged about somebody committing a crime, even though you know they probably did. No, to my knowledge, I never ingested anything that would alter me in some way, shape, or form. I certainly hope that somehow it was not slipped to me, but I felt very. It was a strange experience that I was able to lay back and visualize it happening that way. Um, yeah, I have great memories of another local planetarium we used to have around here, going there as a kid. And this one, they really beefed it up, though. They have this thing called the Sky Master 2, or was it 2000 or 8000? I don't remember. Um, and they call it Luke, of course. Um, but interesting folks. And I remember asking the presenter there that day if there were some evidences or data that we've gained from satellites that he was aware of um, that would make much more clear whether or not the Earth was flat. Like I've seen a lot of information from some different flat Earth groups lately, and I don't ascribe to it myself. I'm still more than happy to accept a spherical world cosmology. But I see a lot of these people who seem to have like a deep, um, ardent belief that the science is in their favor. And just like Crowder does change my mind segments, he tries to be informed about the other side's point of view. And I want to be informed about the other side's point of views and how they come to those. Like, what science have they looked up? What have they not? Because everyone's got holes. Everyone's got areas where they don't have all the information. I assume. I think that's the same for me on a lot of different issues. So I try to see what hard evidence is there, and how would we know? Like, if we've had probes or satellites we've sent into space, and they've been able to scan, take readings of other bodies in the solar system as they've gone by, including the Earth, what programming do they have, or what systems do they have set up to take measurements of the Earth and determine whether or not it's spherical, as well as other bodies that they encounter? How would they judge whether a body is flat or spherical? What methods do they have to determine that? Because we have that capability for things here on Earth. We can tell whether something is flat or spherical. I assume we have the ability to do that with computer technology that goes into space, and that would be worthwhile information to add into that discussion. If I ever encounter Iron Bear or other people that lean much more toward a flat Earth um, mindset. At least I think I've got that right. I remember seeing Iron Bear and Boulder in a chat one time, and they were having it out about about the whole flat versus round business. That was interesting. Um, but yeah, we had a really good time at that museum. They have a lot of different stuff there. They have a whole huge multi-movie theater. Yeah, I would say that's probably the case as well, Mayor. And their thoughts are, well, that comes from the same, you know. I think those on the flat Earth side would say that the ideas we have about physics come to us because of certain assumptions. I'm a guy that believes in a young Earth and in the idea that God created it all in 6 literal days. And I tend to reject a lot of the postulates that would be considered evolution um, pretty ardently, but I have reasonings for that, and I also accept that I may not know everything about it. There's probably plenty of science that's been done out there that's legitimate. Um, and accurate that I might not be aware of. So um, I have the opinion that I stand on, but recognize that yeah, I could be wrong about stuff. But I have thought through it a lot. I've really tried to investigate that stuff deeply. And if someone asks me that question, hey Albert, how are you doing today? Great to see you. Glad you're back. Um, if someone was to ask me, so like we have evidence that the rest of the universe is really old. And I would say, well, it depends on whose clock you're talking about, right? I come to it from that point of view. We're all doing well, by the way, Albert. I was just talking a little bit about some discussion I'd had with flat earthers at different times and with people that are more the spherical earth types, the traditional cosmology types like myself, and just digging into that. Some people think evolution is how God got stuff here, and I used to consider that point of view as well. Um, but the whole thing was sort of end run for me. Like how would I say it? Like it's not whether God did it in 6 literal days or periods of time. I think both at the same time. Like and it really comes down to 6 days as we would understand it for a lot of different reasons for the creation of the earth. But if you're watching that from the earth, you would seem like 6 literal days. There's a concept that I used to understand, and I forget how to explain. I'd have to look it up again, but it has to do with um, it has to do something with the way that quarks in an atom um, some sort of measurement that's involved with quarks and what energy they have um, stored within that atomic structure. Um, so, um, quark confinement, I think, was the term, but I don't remember. There's a biblical scholar guy by the name of Dr. Chuck Missler, and he influenced me quite a bit. The triangle Earth are nice. um, yeah, yes, the time dilation idea. The idea that basically on Earth it would have been 6 literal days, but from the edge of the universe it would have been um, 4.5 billion years. Or 17 billion, I think, is the accepted age of the universe, close to that. Um, so time is a physical property, just like mass, acceleration, gravity. It's a physical property of the universe. It can change um, based on other criteria, right? More acceleration can change our perception of time. All of these things happen, right? So, with that in mind, um, what we have to say about the time scale, the way that things were created, would potentially not work just fee simple the way we might want to say it is um, at first glance. There's usually something deeper there, and so I hold those positions, but I accept that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something I don't know, and yeah, it's interesting that way because I'll always be willing to learn, and at the same time, it doesn't alter my biblical faith because I can easily say, if it's true, then God is way bigger and smarter than I am, and much more capable of having this universe exist, whether I understand how that came to be or not. I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that me understanding it somehow makes God not exist. I think there's plenty of other lines of evidence to support the supernatural nature of the scriptures, and that's a whole nother conversation to get in at a different time. But yeah, so I was asking this presenter. Uh, yes, I agree. I don't think God is a liar. I think that it's not necessarily the evidence; it's how we interpret the evidence, right? How we look at things, and there are ways to look at the same evidence and come to different conclusions. People do it all the time. So I don't think God put evidence here to say, at least from my view about it. Hey, Debbie, did you just pop in here? Yeah, I agree. I don't know that there was time until he started working with the creation of the world. I agree with that, Debbie. Um, yeah. So back to the interpretation idea. Um, when you look at evidence, if you're coming to it with an idea already that it has to fit into your framework of understanding of the universe, then you're going to evaluate it in a particular way, which is why I try to see how people would look at an evidence from one perspective or another. And I also try to see how that perspective, that worldview would come about at its core, at its origins. What would originally inform it? And if I look back at the first cause of a worldview, and see what are the evidences for that first cause. That helps me to better navigate either of those worldviews or any of those worldviews. And so at some point, I might become a middle age triangle earther, not an old age or young age, but a middle age triangle earther. It's entirely possible. I'll join Albert in all of that. Um, But so I was talking with the planetarium guy, and that was interesting. We went around. There's a whole nother section of that museum that's got like kids stuff in it. Um, it had like different activities that kids could do with this balance test. You've got to stand on a dodecadimensional. That's awesome. Um, Oh, good to see you, Feather. Glad you could be here today. So glad to have everyone here. I'm glad to be back doing this. Um, and hope Mike is doing well, Feather. Blessings to all you guys. Trying to think now. Yeah, so um, they have like a balance test in this kids section of the museum, um, where you're trying to. It's almost like a seesaw, but just a short one for your feet only. And you hold on to this bar that's got a sensor in it. As soon as you let go, the timer starts to see how long you keep it balanced. As soon as you go off kilter, you're done. So I got up as high as about 4.5 seconds, doing it legitimately. Now my youngest son, he thought it'd be hilarious to try and just barely hold on to this little ledge with his fingers, just gently touch it and maintain balance like that for 99.99 seconds. It was pretty funny. He's like, I made the timer go all the way up. It's like, that's kind of not the point, son. But I'm glad you're having fun with it. So we did that. There was a whole bunch of different neat things in that museum that we've seen a number of times. If you're ever in Peoria, get to the Riverfront Museum. But what was way more fun than that, as much fun as that was, we got to go up for free to the Museum of Science and Industry on Tuesday. And that was a blast and a half. So many amazing exhibits we got to see there. And I'd love to talk about all the rest of that today. But it's already about almost 9:45, and I'm getting the idea that my pretty lady is going to need to leave and go walk some dogs soon. So I'm thinking I might just go ahead and save some of the Museum of Science and Industry and some of the fun shenanigans we had there for tomorrow. But I also want to talk a little bit more about some of the lessons that I've learned in having my kids with me all the past week, and about how they've grown. And yeah, I think we'll get into some of that tomorrow. I think it's worthwhile. But we touched on some interesting stuff today, and it's a good first show back. Good first hanging out with bears back, which I enjoy. Um, Steve, I'll be contacting you about the Love Chunk or You're a Communist shirt. By the way, dear, did you hear that? Steve Pender was suggesting that he would definitely be behind buying a T-shirt that I put out that says "Love Chunk" or "You're a Communist," and have like a picture of Chunk that's done him up to look like Che Guevara or something like that. He was Cuban. No, was it Cuba that Che was in? I'm trying. Hey, Blue Sky, you just came in when I'm about to leave. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, was Guevara Cuban? I thought he was. Yeah, Andrew J did just suggest Che. You're right. What country was Guevara in? Argentinian. Argentinian. And wound up with Castro. That's right. That's right. Um, so yeah, he was a communist and wanted to see revolution and change in Argentina. And
He wants me to dress up Chunk of the Communist?
no, Steve Pinder was saying he'd be willing to do a graphic artist, design of Chunk looking like a communist, basically, and says "Love Chunk" or "You're a communist."
Oh, Chunk's not a communist.
Well, he's not. That's why it's funny, because it's the opposite. If you don't love Chunk, then you are. Hey, another bear. Darn right, Josh Bear. Glad to see you. Welcome. Glad you come to the Big Drum Bear. But you came right at the time when I was getting ready to head out, man. So if you're new here, folks, I usually do this about 8 to 8:30. Who am I kidding? 8:45. Pretty much Monday through Thursday. I try to get Fridays when I can, and it's going to eventually be all 5 days during the week as often as possible. But talk about my life, my experiences, how that might be useful to yours as you try to navigate your life. And my beautiful lady bear, my wife, she'll pop in from time to time, as well as my 3 dogs. So always fun. And I talk about drumming, which I'm going to do this coming week. It is Friday. You guys are getting ready to hit the weekend. I'm going to endeavor to put at least one video out this weekend for you guys of some of the different cool stuff that I've been working on for a little while here. So it's basically live romantic comedy with music. That's awesome, man. That's hilarious. We're like Mad About You. I'm totally Paul Reiser without the New York accent, right? Funny it's funny, 2 references to Helen Hunt um in the stream here, and I didn't even think about it. In that same interview I mentioned about her earlier, she even said that her and Paul Reiser considered opening up a Mad About You dinner theater. They'd reenact scenes from the series while you eat prime rib or something like that. Like that's hilarious. That would be a trip and a half. My wife and I could do that while people eat prime rib. That'd be good. Oh yeah, Guevara. Yeah, he was not a kind man. A Kerouac-esque motorcycle journey. Yeah, there was a movie about him not long ago, I believe. I remember in college how they extolled him like he was such a great revolutionary. Tried to change the lives of many, except that he sought to mercilessly have many killed. Though I don't know that he ever had to fire a bullet. He probably did, but probably not too much. Probably had other people do that for him. Um, Again, I'm speaking without knowledge. I have to do more homework on Shay. I'm just roughly aware of those things. But sorry to Blue Sky and to Josh Bear. I'm stepping out right now, and I'll be back live on Monday. But who knows? I might pop in secretly. Just keep your eyes open. There might be like an unannounced bear stream or big drum bear stream that I pop out. But I love you guys. I'm glad I could be back in here doing stuff. Smash the like button, like, subscribe, share. Check me out on Facebook and Twitter. Will be up soon. I have a couple Twitter handles, but I'll pick a big drum bear one up for you guys to check with, and then Snapchat. That's also there. Dude, you're awesome. That's super cool. Clark Kent 12880 bear. comrades. Che was an Argentinian reformer. Pretty funny. All right. Great to see new faces in here. You guys have a great day. Love y'all. And talk to you soon. Engage your mind, engage your body, and engage your heart. Seek to serve the ultimate purpose. That's what I'm all about. That and drums. So, if PDP needs hair treatment, send him a PayPal. You guys are so funny. I missed that, Dom. I've needed some ridiculous Dom plugs. Oh, they're so good. If you need a good guy to plug your PayPal, Dom's the guy to do it. Kiki's had some pretty darn good ones too. A Dom plug. Go check out Dom when he does a stream. Go check out Steve Pender, 1911 Mayor. Be sure to check out Mayor McDeath. He puts on some good stuff for us about his guitar playing and his experiences. I enjoy all these guys. They're so wonderful. And also, of course, check out Owen Benjamin, Big Bear. He'll have a stream, I'm sure, later today. Peace to all y'all. Love bears.